Hey, Magic fans, welcome back. This is your captain speaking here on Capnclydes MTG. Today, we're going to talk about some stuff. Uh, we're going to talk about the best reprints coming from Ravnica Remastered that are probably going to carry the set in every way, shape, and form, um, other than serialized cards, if people even get into them as heavily as everybody thinks they're going to. So, without further ado, before we get into it, comment, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, the comments down below, feed the YouTube algorithm. We're on Rumble. Check us out there. Subscribe. Hit that member button. Show a little support. Links in the description to eBay TCG Player Store if you want to buy a couple cards to help support as well. It's all good. So, before we get into it, let's roll it. So, one of the very first cards that we needed to reprint for is Kinko Mob Boss. So, this is really a highly played card in Commander. The card's got worth a little bit of money. This is really going to bring the card down to game piece pennies on the dollar, which is what everybody wants, right? Um, so, 2 red and 2 for a 3/3 that you can tap to create X 1/1 red goblin creatures, where X is the number of goblins. So you tap it once, it's a goblin, you get one. You tap it again, you have two goblins. The one you made in this one, you get two. So forth and so on. As you have more goblins on the battlefield, plenty of goblins that have haste. That when this comes into play, can give it haste and make it just spew goblins out the wazoo. Um, but yeah, so this is a good reprint, which will make a lot of commander decks easier to make, especially when we get all these really good cards into game piece value of only dollars in a set that's going to cost you a couple hundred. Makes a lot of sense. Anyway, next card that we need to get a reprint for, in my opinion, was this one, the Orovzon Scion. And the reason I say this is because this doesn't get enough props, in my personal opinion. Black, white, and one for a 2/3. Whenever you sacrifice white creatures, you can sacrifice 3 white creatures to exile a creature. It's kind of high for removal, but whenever another black creature you control dies, you can create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying, which, when you have 3 of those, you can use this to sack 3 creatures and exile a creature. So you play this in a black white deck, and you make a whole bunch of black creatures. You sacrifice them because they have some sacrifice ability, aristocrats or whatever, um, to do other things, and then they generate 1/1 things, but they generate also other 1/1 things, tokens in general, in a token deck. And this is a 3 mana sack 3 creatures, exile a target creature. Can be used as much as you want, and it's exile, not destroy. So it means that if you exile your opponent's creature, it can't go in the graveyard for them to fish back out. They have to put it in command zone if it's their commander, which can really make a difference. I like this card a lot. I don't think it sees enough love, in my personal opinion. So I'm glad to see it get reprinted. Hopefully this will bring it to the forefront, and some more people will actually start using it. So, moving on to some heavier hitters, Deathrite Shaman finally gets another reprint. Um, it's around the $10 mark, maybe a little bit more. This will probably definitely take it down to around the 5 or 6. Again, right down there, almost a game piece level, so I'm sure we'll see another reprint of this thing later. But a green or a black for a 1/2. You tap, exile land from a graveyard to get a mana, so the best of any elf, any mana you want. Black, and exile instant sorcery from a graveyard. Each opponent loses 2 life. A green, exile a creature card from your graveyard, gain 2 life. The black ability is the best, especially in Commander. I mean, just a black can tap and zap the whole table. I'm sure that'll make you really popular. But still a great card to use. And it'll be really cool to, get this down to a reasonable level where, all the cards are worth nothing, because that's what we want, right? Another good reprint coming back is we have Buvac the Grandiloquent. We really didn't get a lot of good Buvac reprints lately. We had it in the list once. It was in Jumpstart, the expensive one, before they screwed it up. The first time they did Jumpstart, and they didn't actually try to milk everything out of it. But a blue and 2 for a 1/4. If opponent would mill 1 or more cards, they mill twice that many. Everybody loves Buvac the Grandiloquent. He's in all kinds of commander decks. And some other decks, to be honest with you. I've seen him pop up in a few other formats. Um, but here's going to be a set you can actually pull him out of on a regular basis. He is a mythic, though, so he is going to be hard to get. And this will probably be one of the more popular cards to get serialized, at least to begin with. So this will be one of the popular cards in the set. Moving on, next we have Kinko Bolas Dragon God. This hasn't seen a reprint for a while. The red 3 black and a blue for 4 loyalty planeswalker. Has all the loyalty abilities of all planeswalkers on the battlefield. +1, you draw a card. Each opponent exiles a card that they have in their hand or a permanent. -3, destroy a creature or planeswalker. -X, each opponent who doesn't control a legendary creature or planeswalker loses the game. This is a very popular commander card. Because of that, it's kept the price high. Hasn't seen a lot of reprints, so it's going to be nice to see this get reprinted and take the price down probably to the $10 range, I think. I don't even know how much it's going for. Probably should have looked before I did this video. Won't matter after enough of these videos and reprints. They'll all be $1 or so. Another good card in the set is going to be, and finally, Cyclonic Rift. This is a Commander All-Star, and probably one of the best bounce spells, just because it's instant, it bounces something, and it has the possibility of overload. Now, outside of Commander, probably not going to happen, but the ability to have it as an option is better than not having an option at all. So, it is what it is, and, you do what you do, right? Do. So, with all that said, these are really going to be the cards that are going to, I hate to say, make or break Ravnica Remastered, aside from actual serialized cards. And of course, these serialized will also be great. But from the looks of the set and what I've seen, I think the price tag is too high for a remastered set. There's not enough good reprints in here. And a lot of that has to do with the fact they've reprinted so much so often that they've just drove the price down so much. Buying a booster box of Ravnica Remastered, for me, is honestly not an option. At $170, $80, like, I wouldn't pay any more than $120 for this. Like, I'm talking like draft box level, because there's no serialized card in the draft boxes. There's no longer set boosters, and there's just nothing special in the draft box for you to buy it to hope to crack something. Because remember, these are all cards that have been printed before, that for $120 or $150, or if you go by the price they're going for right now, like $170, $180, you could buy every good card in the set that you need and have money left over to probably buy other cards. And I say probably, I'm mean definitely, because nothing is that expensive in this set to justify the price tag of a master set. Now, can it be a master set? Yeah, but it should have been a cheap master set, and that's all there is to it. With that said, the other cards that are going to support this set are going to be those serialized cards, which can only be found in collector boxes. And the amount of those cards being serialized that people want are going to be hard to say. I've heard lots of talk of people wanting serialized Shocklands and Birds of Paradise, but again, if those select few people get what they want and nobody else wants them, then is there really that much of a demand for it, and who's really going to buy it? Because let's look at it like this too. What do we do when we run out of cards to serialize? And what I mean by that is, once you serialize a card, you should not serialize it again. Now, I'm sure Wizards will probably try, maybe with new art or something like that. But for example, if you have a serialized Cyclonic Rift, and it's worth $500, Wizards puts out a new serialized Cyclonic Rift. How long before there's multiple serialized cards of every card, and now serialized cards are no longer special because there's several different versions of them? And maybe the art and some other things that they do with them may help save or solve that problem. But Wizards is running out of ways fast to try to get money out of people's pockets. And at the end of the day, I think there's going to have to be a reckoning at some point, because these are some of the best cards that I've seen in the set that I think have dollar value. And that's not saying a whole lot when I only found about 8 or 9. There are some other rares and stuff that have a decent amount of value, but when I say value, I mean over $10, because these packs are going to be close to $10 a pack. And if nothing in the set's worth $10, then are the packs really worth it? I mean, you could say, well, you shouldn't expect to get your money back out of a pack, and you don't have to. But if you're guaranteed not to get your money out of a pack and it's a brand new set, I just don't think anybody's going to want it. So, with all that said, guys, thanks a lot for watching. Till next time, be kind, and as always, I hope to see you across from the game table. Still waiting for ShamWow to call, just saying.